It is a new map, a new round as the players drop down once again onto Gili Island. Coming in from due east as well this time around, so we'll be flying pretty much just right over or just to the south of Bitter Lake, and we'll see where all the players drop. Last time around, our circle play right in that right center side, so it was a very slow game, I think pretty much on par with SEA standards, but we can probably expect it to be a little faster if we get that circle drawn over a bit more water this time.
Yeah, I mean, that would cause a faster map, but doesn't matter whether a circle is going to be drawn. Southeast Asian teams kind of know exactly where they're going to drop. I mean, you have teams like Pirate Bay going towards a Pirate team going towards the Observatory. You've got teams like Seal or War of Elite going towards Ross Bay all the time. So these teams know exactly where they're going. We should see that circle start to form around logging camp as well. You can already see it. Look at that big circle that just makes logging camp completely empty. And that's because that's NRX John 316's territory. No one dares to drop there and compete with them for resources because teams have tried before and it doesn't work out for them.
It's a surefire ticket to being eliminated very early on. Nobody wants that, so they leave NRX John alone. So looking at the number 12, that ought to be the team. And look at the circle. This time, it is definitely a lot smaller. It's going to encompass the area between Chemical Depot and Echo Valley. Also Training Island as well. So if anyone wants to try and hold out there, that could be an interesting spot.
Mm-hmm. Again, it does create this good area for NRX John 316 to hunt, because one of the things they like to do is after looting up logging camps, they'll get in their truck and look for their first few skirmishes, look for the first few fights. And with the zone being just on the edge of logging camps, they can very much just swing back and forth between the edge of the zone, looking for teams that are slowly making their way in or unsuspecting teams for NRX to get the jump on. This is SEAL team over by Russ Bay. We expect them to get into first skirmish against War of Elite, but normally they just disengage and move to separate parts of the map, one going south, one going north. But it can sometimes end in a couple of players being down. You can see Raw's close by to end here, so SEAL could always pop around the corner and look for a skirmish.
Yeah, it's always a possibility. But as we've seen from the last round, SEAL definitely preferred to take the very passive route early on, trying to avoid as many fights, all about survival for the longest time possible rather than getting those frags. Didn't work out too well for them last game. Remember, they placed 11th. But last time we did see a handful of teams on Russ Bay actually engage in a firefight or two in the first few minutes. Just nobody actually got downed.
Mm-hmm. And not going to lie to you back at home, it's going to be a very slow start here. The Southeast Asian teams do tend to shy away from these early fights. What you'll see happen is what's probably going to happen here. They'll get into a standoff. Both teams will realize that taking a fight is silly unless they can get a quick kill and exit, or a quick squad wipe and exit. Because if you risk a lot getting into these early fights. The early game is where you're going to spend the most time looting, getting items, acquiring gear for yourself, making sure you're set up for the mid and late game. It's also where you stand to lose the most. You could think about it as 40 points, but if you die right there and then, it's 10. That's it. That's all you get for the entire round. Whereas if you die middle of the game and you have 4 kills at that point in time, you get 80 to 90 points, which is still something. It's still about half of what you should be getting per game. A team should be averaging 200 per map to consider themselves as one of the top 6, top 7. And what ends up happening is even if you do get the squad wipe, you get the extra 40 points, you get knocked down to 3, maybe 2 players. So you've already had your looting time cut in half by getting into prolonged sieges. You've already lost a couple of players to start the game. It just makes things very difficult for you and your squad to move forward into the mid and late game. So the early game, as much as it's very focused on looting, very focused on avoiding these fights, sometimes they can't avoid it. And Southeast Asia's trend when they get into these fights is either what you see now, War of Elite, staunching SEAL, looking for a pick or two, and he'll probably take a knockdown or two and be happy with it.
Mao is a very patient shot as well. He's going to wait till he lines it up almost perfectly.
He's got it perfect right there, but he's not taking it.
Wow, I'm surprised.
You know, I wouldn't either. You know, you got to scout out as much information as possible, see what you can find first.
They have no idea he's there.
Well, they should know. I mean, this is not an old rivalry. This is the Russ Bay rivalry. We've seen this for 3 splits in a row now, while SEAL Team and War of Elite always get into fights here, and it seems like SEAL Team always take the northern side of Rust Bay. War of Elite settle for the southern side of Rust Bay, so it's like a unspoken treaty between the two.
But it looks like they've been allowed to get into one of the more safe warehouses, not out in the open anymore. So Mao does drop down, and yeah, it's almost like a gentleman's agreement. They decided not to engage in what would have almost certainly been at least one, probably two downs. Meanwhile, though, on the bridge, there's a bit of a drive-by fight. Mr. Lonely getting pinned down here by Majapahit Ginkgo, but rather, who's pinning who? Looks like he's going to be able to get a lot of damage on that truck, but he does get down in exchange for one. Chicken Grenade comes through, and all of a sudden, we got kills starting to fly left and right, all the way down to 56 players. So that was a 4-down fight. Majapahit going to be coming in and trying to get people back
Will
up.
Clubs will be picked back up. They get all 4 frags, and they don't lose anyone there, but they went up against Just Team as well. Best team in Vietnam, able to wipe the floor with them. It was very close. Majapahit didn't take any damage. They almost lost quite a few of their teammates there. So picks up one, the member with the lowest health, stops him from bleeding out. Now it's next.
What is next indeed? So, taking a look back on Rust Bay, looks like ANEP here, joined by his team, kind of roving through. Once again, it's going to be one of those slow burns for especially this matchup, because despite the fact that the two teams are in proximity and SEAL have pretty much full information, or rather, I should say there's full information on SEAL. Not a lot of plays being made. Meanwhile, though, over here, Pow Pow gets down real quickly, though. Oh, boy. And Fate's, one of Fate's players as well is getting down, so it's a bit of a blitz across the board. Tina Pei is going to come out the victor.
I mean, Pow Pow will be picked back up here. Tina Pei will be happy with that.
I thought for a second Pow Pow was going to go down real early and would have been a massive surprise. He's been a hero for his team the last couple of rounds.
Brand Esports in general have looked good recently. I'd say a little bit off form in yesterday's matches when they played in that group.
Yep.
But
here's Dark Frost.
See, again,
Gal.
We've had all this early action, but only 6 players have fallen over the last 7 minutes because the trend is to disengage, back away from these fights if you can't force them.
Yeah, quick and efficient. The fights tend to be over very fast, especially in the early phases. Looks like Dark Frost have a handful of vehicles to work with, and they're going to head over towards apartments south of Chemical Depot as they run into a wall.
As always.
Your favorite thing.
Expected for these drivers not to be able to drive anymore.
He glitched in the wall too.
Gets caught out as he tries to park the car inside the actual garage.
What happens if they drive the car like off a cliff into the ocean?
It's happened before. The car just stops moving and you have to get out.
Oh, that would be really cool though.
No, it's not cool to watch a professional team drive a car into the ocean.
It's cool to see the car fly into the ocean. Maybe that's the tactical strategy.
Yeah. No. It's not what we want.
It's about entertainment, Fish. It can't just always be tactics. I've seen some tactical crouches. That's entertainment. Okay. A lot of damage on that truck. Looks like Gao team had spotted them. A little bit of fights going on between a couple of the Vietnamese teams.
The Gao team going up against Fury Roads. Just taking some shots their way, making it a little bit difficult for them to fight back. But again, Gao team, the underperforming team from the Vietnamese region.
Yeah, had some highlights last week, but unfortunately wasn't enough to carry them through to victory this time around. Yesterday, or rather, earlier today, we saw them getting down pretty quickly. Circle continues to shrink. Looks like it's going to be pretty much comprising the area between Mesa Factory and Chemical Depot.
This is just so typical of Southeast Asia. Look at how many teams are outside the zone, and the teams that are actually inside the zone have found a good position central to the next play zone. Not the current, the next.
They ain't afraid of no zone, Fish.
So those are the teams that are looking for those late game finishes. Teams that are trying to find an early setup, an early compound to hold. Whereas everyone else is still outside the zone, will slowly make their way in later on. Give them some time to do so. It will take some time for them to do so as well.
All right. 7 is going to be leading up the front of Gao team. Drops off a couple of players inside that house as well. This is, of course, our slow burn. So we'll still be waiting probably until about 20 minutes or so before the action starts to really get underway. Maybe 22. Kick back, relax for now. Maybe take the time to type in chat what your favorite team and why is, and you could be entered for a chance to win 88 diamonds.
88 diamonds is no laughing matter.
No, it's serious. You can get quite a lot for that. I liked your emphasis in the video. Real diamonds.
Yeah, real diamonds, because people keep saying that they keep getting diamonds from the broadcast, which has never been true. You've never been able to get diamonds before until this competition.
Oh, that's what you mean by real.
Yeah, it's a real diamond.
I thought it was like, it sounded like you're going to send them in the mail.
No, people used to say, "Oh, I got X million diamonds from my gift care package. Thank you so much." And it's like, no, you didn't. You're just lying and spreading panic and fear amongst the eyes of people.
I believe they call that fake news.
Yep, fake news. Just pulling a Trump.
Yes,
right? Is that the
Trump.
way it works?
That is one way to do it. Yeah.
Big old Donald.
Yeah.
Donald Duck. Yeah, that's pretty much what he sounds like whenever I listen into any of his speeches. Is
That's a great
wrong.
Sad. That's all I'm going to say.
Small hands. something.
We've come down to this. This is the bottom of the barrel that we're scraping right now.
No,
ladies and gentlemen.
This is not. This is not.
It's
he really is a small handful. Ooh,
no, you're not wrong. Holy moly! What just happened with Tina Pay?
Oh, he just eliminated a
he
team.
just got I think he just got a 4K. Team wipe on his own.
Yep. Managed to wipe.
Oh man,
and kill an entire team.
I wish we'd seen that one, but it was happening in just a second.
He must have blown up a car.
Yeah, there's no other way because it all happened at the same time. Or it's possible that he breached a house and found like a really clutch grenade, but it was kind of hard to tell. Man, I wish we'd had that in replay. All right. Ainup continues to try to parallel park. To get himself up to the top. Finally does. Up to the top floor he goes. Join the rest of his team as well. It's nice. It's like everybody's playing House Hunters. That's kind of what this phase of the game is.
I mean, the changes to the meta means that these breaches are a lot easier. You used to see teams just refuse to go anywhere near where an explosive crossbow shot could eliminate your entire team. And quite often, the apartments were that place. You go into the apartment, you run up a staircase, suddenly an explosive crossbow bolt hits the floor, that's your team gone. Or vice versa, you're defending an apartment, explosive crossbow bolt comes up, oh look, it's a firecracker, my whole team's dead.
But games were faster because the teams would do it.
Games were, no, not for Southeast Asia.
Well, not
games
for Southeast Asia.
Were slower because more teams were med-stratting trying to avoid confrontation because they realized, why do I need to send 4 people into battle if they're all going to die to a crossbow when I can send 3, give less targets for the opponent and more targets for me?
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, med-stratting is basically just making yourself a plan B. It's just interesting that some teams actually decide to use it as plan A and B.
Yeah, I mean, AROV did it last match. SEAL Team tried, but got caught out by NRX. They were a little bit too close to the actual circle itself. Fate did it successfully and got 2nd place, 195 points. 5 points shy of what the target is for Medstrat, and which is nothing. You expect to have a few games where you do only get 2 frags. In fact, 2 games where you only get 2 frags, and then 3 games where you have 3. So, you know, we should see more Medstrats coming out from Fate. But look at this, more teams are actually getting in towards this next play zone. We had the early fights, not too many teams to be taken down, and you'd expect the play zone coming up after this, as the new zone shows itself, still fairly central, is where we're going to see those fights take place. 6 teams that are inside the current play zone need to reposition to get into the next. There are a couple of teams that the only way for them to reposition effectively is going to be through another squad.
Looks like it's SEAL Gaming that have actually moved their way into the play zone. A couple of motor scooters. Oh, a little bit of a fail from Ed.
Almost like, you know, he's bad at driving there.
Well, he's still within the play zone at this point. Not too much of a deal. And also, Sanji's got himself a tuk-tuk. So a smattering of vehicles here for SEAL Gaming. And let's see what they'll be up to if they decide to med-strat from here now. 14.5 minutes on the clock. Loki is going to get spotted as well. The rest of our team here. Not Fire Rose, but Fury Roads. Or I get that backwards. It actually is Fire Rose, excuse me.
This is Fire Rose, yeah. Zeus is the one in Fire Rose.
And of course, Doi who lasted into the top 5, allowing them to pick up that finish.
Lots of canals to play around in this next play zone as well. Something that was retired for a little bit, as we had the rampage of the explosive crossbow and the truck meta. Kind of retired our canal usage for a while.
Keep your eye on JC there for NRX John sitting on top of that, kind of the thatched housing, the thatched roof. A little bit out of sight, but also able to pop up and get shots in a 360-degree radius. Very valuable for a solid sniping position. Like an AA, waiting outside that window as well.
And they're another team that's moved in nice and early. NRX, not about hunting in the mid-game anymore. They know that the meta has shifted to be very late-game focused, and they're immediately setting up shop somewhere deep inside the play zone, waiting for the rest of the battles to take place. The longer they wait, the less risky it is as well, because that means more teams would have fallen, more battles would have already been fought, other teams would have already been wounded when they finally get into skirmishes against NRX, making it a bit easier for them to take them down.
No, yeah, they hustle, and it allows them to, rather than having to go hunt, they set a trap for teams that try to breach into the houses, and NRX are one of those teams that are very good at holding a position. This is partially why. Jay-Z up on this thatched roof, he's able to see in every direction. You can cover a lot of ground there. The only danger is basically being caught out by a stray snipe, or maybe, if somebody has really picture-perfect placement, a grenade. But it shouldn't be hard for Jay-Z to see any of that coming. Take over a look at Brenny Sports.
They're playing this one nice and cautious. So it looks like they're not doing anything, and that's absolutely right. All Brenny Sports are doing are constantly moving, so that they're not a sitting duck. So if anyone has their eyes set on towards them, they can't just get a free headshot. It still takes some skill to
That's
execute
strafing
it.
with a car.
Strafing with the car, and making sure to stay mobile. If anyone rocks up, anyone shows up, or they need to suddenly change their position, they can do that. No problem.
We're getting ever closer to that point. Calm before the storm is the way to describe it, but it'll still be for a few minutes here. Outside of a few players being spotted, it looks like that is going to be ANEP and Co. War of Elite making their way down the road past Chemical Depot. Not entirely sure if they're still looking for loot or if they want to hunt around. Out of the beach they go, in fact. Okay. Well, I suppose there's always time for a little holiday. Ooh, hello.
Strafing coming out was beautiful.
Oh, Lion gets downed.
Does get down, but the strafing was so good.
Yeah, that was really impressive stuff, actually. Just stayed outside of the range or the ability to get shot there is really, really well done. So,
And our warriors who executed on that very well. Lunacy now just trying to use the third-person perspective to spot out the other players moving in.
yep. As the green zone encroaches here, Road to Victory will have to pack up and move pretty soon. But they're staying alive for the time being. And there's Slurpee as well. On the other side, he does get one down. That was Cyanex. Majapagi still looking to come up and pick him back up, but oh, he has got to be so careful. And no, it is not going to be enough. He gets taken down. Majapagi, rather than getting him back up, just takes down on pretty much all the members of RTV.
Yeah, RTV gonna fall. So we're getting the, mid-game skirmishes taken out of the way as teams finally rotate into what's going to be the final circles. Just making sure, done and dusted, get it over and done with, and get ready for the big action to take place. It's always a big finale. The build-up is always very slow, but the finale for the Southeast Asian region is always explosive. So that's what we can expect next.
Yep. Looks like we've got Fury Road here getting fired on. They're off-roading, as it were.
Goodbye.
Just a little bit of a wave goodbye to everybody as they cruise around the edge.
Bye, War of Elite.
Now they're going to be heading up towards the next play field, though, so pretty easy for them to get into that zone. Just climbing up on to a care package, actually, that they spotted out. I think that one dropped a while ago. And hello, looking for the house.
Pyro, there's not much to say. They're just waiting. They're sitting back. They're relaxing.
Well,
there's a grenade on his face. So
I was about to say, there's
that's
about
something
to
we
be
could
something.
say. Grenade on his face
There
is one thing you can say.
There was no time to react to that. He just saw the grenade. It had been primed for a while, and he immediately starts strafing right, and it blows up in his face.
Yeah, nothing much you can do there.
Oh, roll.
Did he actually knock him out?
I
No,
think he nearly did, though, and he wanted to just find a good place to bandage up.
Yeah,
Just in danger of taking damage outside the zone here.
just so happened that at the same time on the kill feed it popped up that someone had been knocked out.
Yeah, it looks like this is where we're going to be seeing a couple of fights. Oh, looks like got. Seal looking to find a few extra shots here. We're down to 42 players, but that circle is shrinking in play zone 4. This is that SCA special where they take a little while. Majapaki down to half his health. Let's see if Hwang Han can do it. He's going to have to deal with 2. Flo wants to get to Majapaki. Peeks out. Gets shot once more. He's already healed up, though, so he's fine. And Mao is going to get downed as we move back over to this fight.
Yeah, Gwen's going to try and get back in towards the zone itself. So we're hitting that 23-minute mark shortly. Gao's getting a few kills here and there. Teams are slowly getting ready for that next circle, because that next circle is where we're going to have the action.
Gao's got a lot, actually. Looks like Cyanex does get got.
And we've got... we've only got 39 players left alive here, Pyra.
Make that 37 after this point.
There's not many at all left as we go into the next zone. Look at how long BDS have actually stayed outside the zone, just picking up the stragglers, picking up the random kills from previous firefights where, 1 or 2 survivors were left.
It has been pretty impressive. BDS, one of those teams that have kind of had hot and cold streaks here in the SCA Regional Clash. Yesterday. Looked okay. Weren't the strongest squad representing the Philippines. Had their moments. Let's see if they can keep doing it. Gao, though, they're starting to have a little bit better luck than they did the last round. As you mentioned, one of the Vietnamese teams not considered to be the strongest, but still have the potential to surprise. There's Liam Rio and Haloden. Rest of the team still alive, still in tow. They want to head over that hill, but they know something's up there. Ooh, and gets downed. Meanwhile, back over to the rest of Seal. Hwang Han in a firefight. Flo gets him. And it looks like it's open season here in the ever-shrinking map right now.
It's going to shrink now. So this is where the zone started shrinking, Pyro. This is why we say 23 minutes, because 23 is when we get a quarter into this zone shrinking in. Even NRX are getting in amongst the action.
Yes, indeed. So, looks like this is Fury Road here trying to help their team. Oh, catching some air on that car as Imalu tries to dodge it out. Denzi takes a couple of shots of damage, and looks like we're going to be seeing Fury Road members getting downed as well, and Gao. And even Fire Rose is getting into this. Zeus gets 2. Everything's going haywire. We're down to 30 just like that. Seen a lot of this action happen off screen, though, because it's still kind of coalescing into a couple of different fights across the remainder of this map and on the outskirts as it shrinks down.
Hello Den's now pushing outside too. It's just going to go for the executes. There you go. That's one thing that Gao does well. They'll pick up the kills, but comes back to bite Hello Den as he runs out of ammo going to fight against Aichi.
Yeah, wasn't able to bunny hop fast enough while it was all happening. And Aichi really utilizing this edge of the cliff effectively to make sure that Gao can't fire him down.
Seven's being knocked down as well. Flo.
Yeah. Oh, Doi. Doi just keeps peeking from below the canals.
Yeah, he keeps peeking, Pyro, but I'm not sure if he can actually take these kills down. Lawpro is finally going to fall.
Okay, that's Liam Rong who actually manages to get it. So a couple of Gao members still up in 7. Really low, but he's going to die before anything else can happen.
They're all outside the zone. Nobody could really make their way in. There's only 13 players left. Even Gao are having such a dominant game, but because of them being forced outside the play zone, they're all just dying to the play zone.
Yeah, that's the problem. If you don't actually manage to make your way in, you're going to die. It doesn't matter if you actually get frags. You can't stay alive. You're going to lose out on much more points from that. All right. So here we are. Going to be pretty much down to probably one final fight. 12 players left, most of them dying from the environment. Looks like Flo actually did get that kill, unlike an AA. That's pretty clutch, though, because for NRX John, winners of the last round, considered to be one of the stronger teams here. anyone who can knock them down, certainly going to earn some props. Liam Rong still healing up outside the circle. Couple members of Fire Rose still up and available too. Oh, there's Zippy on NRX, top side. Yada, he's got him in his sights. Will he take the shot? He just waits for him to strafe into it. He is not going for it. Oh my goodness. Jay-Z's there as well. Man, there's so much respect being paid to these members of NRX, John. I don't think anyone wants to risk getting caught in their own crosshairs. But there we go. Zippy gets down on top of the house, and he will get finished off. But Yada does take some punishment for his trouble. Jay-Z did not see where the shots were coming from.
But where are all these players? Like, we just see Fury Roads. They've got still got 4 players in this.
Yeah, and some Fire Rose players as well.
Small Boy's making his way in. ROV's still in here. You'd have to expect, you know, you have Seal and Fate med-stratting, but it doesn't add up. And Jay-Z's still in this one, so you can't count NRX out. He could always pull off a clutch moment.
I think that's 3 members of Fire Rose actually still up. I think you've got Loki, you've got Yada, you've got Doi as well, I believe. Oh, maybe not for long. Okay, Loki gets downed, and it looks like it's going to be all down to 9 players. But you're right, seems to be a lot for what we're seeing.
Small Boy finally gets killed outside the zone as well.
Yeah, down to 7.
Down to 7. I mean,
Cyan-X too.
Look at how many they lost. Just getting into the zone from 4 down to 1, I believe it is. Just, I mean, they're still alive, but they're on the ground, and getting a revive in this final zone is really difficult. Jay-Z could come out clutch.
Oh,
yeah,
Yada
smacks him. He's dead.
Yep, Jay-Z is absolutely clutching.
Doi's gone down as well outside the play zone. So this has turned into a 1-on-1 in the final zone. He's absolutely clutched it.
I cannot believe it. Jay-Z.
He's killed 2 of them.
Playing the hero once more.
One's died to the zone. Zeus is now taking damage from the zone as well. Gal's making a late run into it.
Oh my goodness, the car's on fire and they just keep doing it. So there's Liam Ruong. He gets behind the tree. He's got a riot shield out as well. Very low here, but
Zeus is in a fight against him. Oh!
And he gets downed.
Gets him in the barrette. The sniper rifle coming out from Jay-Z. He's now got Gal in his sights as well for the next kill.
Let's see if he can finish this one and make it all for NRX John, a 2 for 2. Lamrong knows that if he peeks, he's going to get capped. If he peeks on that side as well, especially, but he does get the heal on, he's going to have to move sooner or later, but so will Jay-Z.
Hold it on to this position here, Pyra.
Oh, across the road. Here we go, and we are all down to the 1v1.
Is this the final 2? I feel like we still have a few more players.
I think there was one med strat. It might have just ended.
Oh, he spotted Jay-Z out moving
Oh, my
the
goodness.
Truck. Oh,
Jay-Z low.
Jay-Z has to heal. But the zone's on him. I don't think he's going to be able to do this in time. Gao was able to do it.
And Gao will take the win. It was so close to being NRX Johns once more. But now the representatives from Vietnam will be looking like the winners here. It's only one inside the circle. There's one more med strat. It looks like it's probably going to be Fate.
Fate? Come on, show me Fate. It's either Fate or Seal.
Nope.
Oh, it's Bren Esports. It's neither Fate nor Seal. It's Bren Esports that have gone for the med strat.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Premeditated as well, 2,000 meters away from the play zone. And this is what I mean.
He's got a nice beach view to die on, right?
It's the league of med strats. You always see it.
Yeah, look at how far away he is. Oh, boy. All right. So Gao should win this, yeah?
Gao's won.
Yep. Good. Pack it in.
Yeah, he's going to
let it fade to the sunset.
The time. I mean, teams always do this as well. There's no point for him. Like, to us, it's like, oh, come on, just end it.
I mean, at this point, yeah, there's nothing left to do.
But
yeah.
Tiebreakers are still based on
time
spent alive.
Yeah,
as
that's
the
true.
final tiebreaker, so teams tend to just...
No, that's true. It still makes sense.
All the way to the end. Now he's dead. I think he messed up. No, he's just squatting. So it looked like he cancelled the animation, but he didn't. Now he's dead.
Yep. Cool. All right. GG Reynolds. And, yeah, this game is going to Gao.
GG no re.
And Bren Esports will take number 2. That means NRX John should place into 3. We'll see the rest of the standings after that.
Oh, man, so close for NRX John, but I've got a bone to pick with Fury Roads now because they had this. It was Fury Roads' game to take. I mean, that is amazing from NR Warriors as well. 15 frags, and they placed 5th.
You've got to be kidding me. That is insane. Flo got himself 7 frags alone. Top fragging out in the game. Oh, man. And it looks like Fire Rose were the number 4 team.
Just can't believe